What's up, guys? Welcome to this episode of Beers and Breakdowns. In this episode, we're doing one of my all-time favorite war movies.
Yes.
One of the greats, dude. One of the best. Absolute, hands down, one of the best. We've done like top, like most realistic.
Yeah.
You know, and we even base that on like what made us feel like just the most connected to war itself. But if we're gonna do like my top favorite, this has got to be it for me.
Dude, I forgot how good of a movie this was.
So
when I was
good,
a
dude.
kid, I used to love this movie. I forgot, for one, how good it was. I forgot how much I used to love Pauly Shore. I forgot Andy Dick was in this movie.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And that he was actually good in this movie.
Yeah, this is before his fall from grace.
Pauly Shore, in my opinion, well, in most people's opinion, based on his popularity at the time, he's one of the biggest actors of that time.
Yeah.
And I think Pauly Shore's fall from grace has been really sad too.
Yeah, so I think probably a lot of the younger people don't know and don't understand the impact that Pauly Shore had. Because during this time frame, he was in everything. Dude. Whether it was animated movies, real life, movies like this. Like, he was in legitimately everything at this point in time.
A good comparison would be like thinking about the overnight success of Dane Cook in the comedy world.
Yeah.
Like, to go from like almost unheard of to just absolutely the biggest star, filling out all the arenas, like that was Pauly Shore. At the time, Pauly Shore was doing Biodome, In the Army Now, Son-in-Law. He couldn't
A Goofy
fail.
movie.
Oh yeah. He couldn't fail with his character. And then all of a sudden he just wouldn't let go of that character, and nobody wanted to see that character anymore. Yeah. And it's really unfortunate. And the hardest part is that he has serious moments in this movie. And I looked it up a little bit, and In the Army Now, actually his movies kept getting worse and worse. Even though we loved them, they like their box office hit, they like kept going down and down and down, every single one he did. Instead of seeing the writing on the wall, he just kept pushing forward, like somehow he was gonna re-break through this character. Yeah. And it's just sad, but for this moment in time,
Lightning in a bottle.
Lightning in a bottle. And I think sorry for the tangent, but the only one that's like really been able to almost reinvent themselves from that character, or did it like flawlessly lately, is Adam Sandler.
Yeah, he's got a resurgence right now.
He's got a huge resurgence now. And Adam Sandler had that same character, to where it was like, we like him fighting.
Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, like the same character basically.
The same character. And then all of a sudden he just stopped that, and it's like, it sucked. But now I understand why. He was trying to avoid the kind of Pauly Shore
It's
thing.
a burnout, basically.
Yeah.
You get tired of the same thing. And, you know, the hey, buddy, and the cheese, like all that. Like, it was cool for a couple movies, but you can't make a career off of that.
So, but let's jump into this one. This is actually some Special Forces guys in this movie, which I also forgot that, too. I think by the time I watched this, I didn't know much about SF or anything like that. And so now one of the main characters in this movie is Green Beret. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So let's jump in. If you guys want to see more episodes and you like what we do on this channel, please do us a favor, like and subscribe. And it's almost like cringy to ask like and subscribe, because I spend a lot of time on YouTube, and I always hate that part when they're like, hey, make sure you like and subscribe.
Make sure to hit that notification bell.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, just let me watch the video.
Okay, if you like it, then like it.
If you like it, show it. But if not, hit the dislike. I don't care. Whatever. Just do something. Don't just stand idly by. Give us some feedback.
Let us know what you did or did not like.
Yeah. And if you think we're absolute trash, go in the comment section and be like, you guys suck, dude. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Just send a clown emoji.
Yeah. Sorry, we're just discussing. Hey. Oh my God. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. No. Did you order a code red? Answer me. Did you order a code red, man? You want the truth. You can't handle the truth. Yay. He's goofing off. Wow, that was my Nicholson impression. Good.
Pause. Dude, this scene kills me. First of all, if you touch my head like that, like,
you're inside of my bubble, buddy.
You're in my bubble, dude. I'm at the very least, and I'm not proud of this, but I'm launching your ass into the next fucking putt-putt golf. And then the fact that he did it twice, makes fun of him, gets in his face, and then two privates are just like cool with it. And then he asks him a question, and they're like, No, it's not like that, buddy. We're going to help you out.
Yeah.
Like, no, sir. You touch my head, we're fighting.
Yeah, it's funny when you go out as a... Well, for one, we didn't go out in uniform, rarely ever.
Especially your dress blues.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But when you do go out, and clearly if you're around a military base, you know who's a civilian and who's military. And so when you go out as military, a lot of times, some of the places that you go, the civilians don't really get along with the military. So you'll see instances like this where they'll like try you and push you. And as military, they know that no matter what you do, you're in the wrong. You're going to get in trouble. So a lot of times, either you're going to back down and not do anything, or just face the music, I guess. But
yeah, it's going on.
You see stuff like this plays out pretty often, especially in other countries.
Yeah, dude. He touched my hair. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? But he did it again?
Yeah, that's a wrap. That's too much.
Over, dude. We'd be beating those long-haired dudes up.
Especially Andy Dick and Pauly Shore.
Dude, no. I would feel bad hitting Andy Dick. I just look at him and be like, don't do it. And he'd probably be like, all right.
Don't hit me.
Don't hit me. I got to pay my rent. Dude, that's just hilarious. And then I don't even understand this reference. He's like, can't handle the truth. He's like Jack Nicholson. Like, what? Like, I feel like that was just him being a complete idiot. Like,
because of the hand? Well, the hand didn't matter. You remember the movie, though, right?
What was it from? Was it Shining?
Men of Honor. When he's there, he's in the courtroom, and he's like, did you order the code red? Tom Cruise is the lawyer, the JAG guy. He's like, did you order the code red? Did you order the code? He's like, you got there right, I ordered the code red. And Tom Cruise is like, yeah, I got him. Because he just admitted to it. That's a good movie, you know. We might want to do that movie, too.
There you go.
Throwing $2,500 just for signing up?
Basically, yes.
Wow. Well, then how come everybody isn't in the reserves? Do people actually know about this stuff?
Well, we do try to advertise.
Oh, yeah. It's not a job, it's an adventure.
No, that's the Navy.
The few and the proud?
No, that's the Marines.
Keep going, and gone?
No, that's the Energizer, buddy.
Gentlemen.
Dude, I was that idiot, bro. Like, I went in and I was like, sign me up.
What can I do?
Dude, that guy saw me come from a mile away.
You're
He
a
was
recruiter's wet dream.
Yeah. He's like, easy day, bro. And I was like, oh, you're going to give me money? He's like, you make it into Ranger Regiment, you get $5,000. And I was like, $5,000? Damn, I never seen that much money.
That's funny. I noted this scene because on my end, I was like, who goes into a recruiter's office like this? Because before I went in, I had done months of research.
Are you serious?
I walked in, I was like, I want this, I want this, I want this. And like, so for me, I knew what I wanted, but I guess people just actually go in and are like, what can you do for me? What can I do for you? And then they're like, you get $2,500, which doesn't sound like a lot. I didn't get any kind of sign-up bonus. Did you?
I only would have gotten it. I was supposed to get $5,000 to get into Ranger Regiment, but I got hurt, so I didn't get it.
Okay.
So I got zero.
See, I didn't get my student loan repayment because I went in as a medic, and if I would have went in infantry at the time, which I should have done, I wanted to do, I could have got a sign-up bonus, and I could have got my student loan repayment. I didn't do any of that, and I went in for medic and didn't get anything.
All I walked in and said is, I want to be a Ranger. And he was like, all right, come back tomorrow. And there were so many people, everyone that wanted to be a Ranger, which I didn't realize at the time, wanted to be an infantry Ranger.
Right.
So he coerced me into being a Ranger, but being a cook as a support, because there was nobody wanted to go in support. And it was like, rightfully so, because they did their damn research.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, how long did I have to do that? And he was like, 6 months, dude. And I was like, oh, I could do anything for 6 months.
Don't trust them.
Don't trust them.
You know what's wild is we get so many messages on the FNG Academy Instagram about people just verifying. They're like, hey, my recruiter said this or my recruiter said that. And a lot of them are like what you're saying. My recruiter said that I can't get an 18 X-ray contract now, but if I go and do this, I can pick it up at basic, which has happened. But we always tell people, get it in your contract, or other ones that are be like, I want whatever job, but my recruiter's like, I can't get it, do this job. Like you said, for 6 months, and then you can reclass. It's not that easy. Don't let them get you. If you want something, sign up. Sign your papers for what you want. Make sure it's in your contract.
If you're not happy with what's written down on your piece of paper, don't sign it. Because once you sign that contract, that's the contract. That's it.
Yep.
Anything from there that you change or try to adapt is a beg and a wish and a plead, and it's completely up to the military.
Yep.
But when you sign it, they owe that to you, and so that's written in stone. So for all you guys and girls that think about going to the military, get what you want on paper, and if they say they can't do it, then walk out of there. They're like used car salesmen. No offense to any recruiters. Like they have a job to do. We're not dissing them. We're not saying that they're shisty or anything. They have a job to do. But you need to understand that what you have written down, if you're not happy with it, you made a mistake.
You have more power than you think.
Right. If you could walk out of that place, though, and you have a clean record and everything's looking good, they'll call you back with your job. Maybe you wait a week or 2 weeks. They'll call you back.
They change all the time.
Yeah. At some point, that job availability will open up. We're not saying that the recruiters are lying to you and being like, oh, it's not there when it is. It's just maybe not there for a day or two.
Yeah.
It could be there in a week later. So don't be impatient.
Don't be this guy that walks in. It's just like, wait a second, you're telling me I could do what?
Right. And I don't
do your research.
Again, I don't want to bash recruiters. I don't think it's their fault at all. I think when we walk in, especially guys like me that did it, we're so impatient and impulsive that we just want everything right now. Mm-hmm. And what you need to do is, if you don't get what you want, wait it out. Let that recruiter call you back when it's available. And I think most recruiters would agree, people with patience typically get what they want.
Yeah. Yeah, otherwise they've got numbers they need to meet too.
Right.
So if you're willing to help them meet their numbers,
and if you're the guy that walks in and says, I just want to leave and I want some money, hell, then both of you guys are happy.
Yeah.
So you don't blame your recruiter when you didn't get what you want.
It works as well on the rifle range as it does in the disco.
Okay, that's perfect.
Yeah, real Jack.
All right.
Pause it. Obviously, you get your head shaved, dude. Like, everyone's getting their head shaved. You know that you're in turn to get your head shaved. Like, it's not going to be a surprise when he turns you around. Obviously, that was for the movie, but it was still so funny.
Do you remember yours?
I honestly don't.
Oh, dude.
I think I preemptively shaved my head.
All right, so I'll never forget mine. I didn't shave my head, but I used to keep it short back then. But so there at Fort Sill, I went to Fort Sill, and what's cool about a lot of these shots is it's actually filmed at Fort Sill, you could tell. But I remember standing in line that day in reception and basic training, waiting to get the haircut. And I remember seeing the people as they're leaving, and because they do it so fast. Like because they've got hundreds of people to go through, so they're just like, so people are leaving with like patches of hair still on their head. Some people are bleeding, like it was a mess. And I remember getting mine and just like sitting there and I feeling it go. And I used to watch Full Metal Jacket before I went, and I just remember like thinking like this is my time, like in Full Metal Jacket when they do it, and I'll never forget that moment getting that haircut. It's one of those like transformative moments.
My recommendation for any males going in is preemptively just shave your head and get a tan on it.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because that's the worst part is if you've had long hair for a long time, you shave your head, it's super white, and then you just look like a moron with a beaming, glowing white head.
I forgot about that. Everybody looks so funny after they get their haircut.
But if you just preemptively shave it and then get a tan on your head before you go, first of all, you kind of take a little bit of power away from them to like humiliate you, and then also you don't look as stupid because your head's already tan. Yep. And if you that's the real issue, going from hair to no hair. It's not so much the hair; it's the tan.
Yeah.
It's having a fucking white ass head. It just looks like you're wearing a white helmet, a skin helmet. So just preemptively get your head tan.
Yeah, you're right. That guy is exactly like my dad.
See? Come on.
Wait a minute, though. My childhood sucked. No, I can't do it, man. I can't handle being yelled at by some muscle-bound drill sergeant. No, man, I can't do it. Get the hell off my job! Oh, whoa. She can drill me anytime.
Not acting.
First of all, she is not ugly.
She reminds me of Drill Sergeant Washington. I had a drill sergeant like that.
So did I.
Yeah,
that's exactly my note. Is I had a drill sergeant just like her, and she was the fucking worst.
Drill Sergeant Washington was pretty bad too.
Dude, She was just like her, small, petite, and fucking angry at everyone in the world, dude. And I'll never forget doing our first formation, walking, and she's like, "You guys think you know?" She's like, "You don't even know how to fucking walk. I gotta teach you how to fucking walk. You think we're starting from ground fucking zero." And I was like, "She right." She's like, left. You see, fucking idiots. You don't even know how to fucking do this right. And I was like, "Gosh, damn, dude." I hated her, bro. She was so fucking mean. I ended up seeing her in Afghanistan, and I had just got pinned E5. She was an E6 as my drill sergeant. I had got pinned E5, and she was still in E6.
Oh.
And I saw her, and I was like, "Oh, hey, drill sergeant." And she's like, she looked at my rank. She's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like, she looked sad, dude. Like, she was not ready to be in Afghanistan. And I was all excited. I was like, "Hey, you know, I just got E5." And she's like, "Already? Like, what the fuck?" And I was like, "All right. Nice seeing you." And I walked away. Little did she know I was about to go SF and then go even faster.
What's wild is Drill Sergeant Washington. I saw her again at first group. She was a support. I don't know what her MOS was, but I saw her at first group. And I remember I saw her, and it was one of those things where, like, when you see an old friend from high school, and you're just like, oh. It was the same way. We kind of locked eyes, and I just kind of, like, went the other way. But it felt so good because I was already SF at that point. So I'm walking around, and we didn't have to wear our caps or our berets or anything, but I still had my tab and also felt good. A little bit of a win.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I saw her. I got promoted E5 the month I was eligible. The soonest you could possibly get it. And then I saw her, and she was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And you typically keep that to yourself. She just said it out loud. She was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And I was like, "Gosh, damn. All right."
You won. You won.
Yeah, I was like, a fucking hater. I thought you were just being a drill sergeant. You're just a bitch.
Okay, but this is gonna
That was a legit hit, too.
I'm gonna teach you a lesson.
Got it.
Throw up now.
Oh.
The funny thing is, like, he hit her because she dropped her guard.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if they still do pugils training. You guys did it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it too. I wonder if they still do it.
Dude, what was the worst was the clinch drill with a Golden Gloves boxer.
You had
My
like
drill sergeant was a Golden Gloves boxer, and he picked me out. I've told this story, but he was like, I was waiting in line, and you know, each drill sergeant, so you're counting your spot to who you have to do the clinch drill with. For you guys who don't know the clinch drill, you have to run up to one of your drill sergeants and get your hands around them and clinch your hands together. And it doesn't stop, so they're hitting you. They got gloves on and they're hitting you. And it doesn't stop until you've clinched your hands together. So essentially they're trying to get you kind of like accumulated to getting hit and being able to think through having your dome rocked. So they're punching you while you have to clinch your hands together. So some people, because like I was a pogue, so we went with females, and some girls would get hit, and the first hit they would just like lose it.
Yeah.
So, and it's not just girls, like guys would do it too. If you've never been hit before, you've never been in a fight, you get hit and all of a sudden you can't think anymore, and you get so that's what that drill is designed to do, as far as I know. But mine, so I counted it out and I was like, oh, I got this guy. I was like, all right, he's pretty chill. And the drill sergeant goes, no, Sean, you're with me. Rogers, you're with me. Step back. You know, I was like, oh, fuck. And he was a Golden Gloves boxer, dude. And I ran up to do the clinch drill, and I just dove my head down, and I went to go cut, and he uppercutted me. Bow! Knocked me out cold. I woke up holding onto his legs, like trying to just like this. And I woke up, and I was like, and he was like, finish the clinch. And I was like, what? And I closed my hands, and he was like, all right, you're good. And I was like,
you were probably like
damn.
a cocky little shit in basic too. Yeah. That's why he picked you out.
Dude, he
was like, I'm gonna teach him a lesson. Take him down a notch or two.
I've never been hit like with so much finesse in my life. I've been in so many fights. I've been hit in the face so many times bare knuckle, but I've never been hit with someone who really knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that fucking uppercut sent me to a whole new planet, dude. When you really know how to fucking throw a punch, that shit sucks.
You know, all the drill sergeants are probably having beers that night or that weekend.
Dude, I clanked them. the same drill sergeant ended up pulling me out when everyone was sleeping. We were about to graduate. We were in like the final collex. And he's like, I just want you to know I'm talking to command to get you in infantry. And I was like, fuck yeah, thank you. And he's like, you made a mistake. He's like, you should have chose Ranger infantry. We would have given you Ranger contract. He's like, but I'm doing my best right now. I wrote a letter on your behalf to get you to infantry. Because he was an infantry guy. Yeah. And I was like, thank you. And I thought I was going to go infantry because of him. But it must have got denied because shit didn't happen. And that's why we say, get in your contract. Because even a drill sergeant trying to help me couldn't get the change to happen.
Yep.
Practice. This is a real live grenade. I want you to do exactly as you've been trained.
Yes, Drill Sergeant.
When I give the command to execute, I want you to drop the pin, throw the grenade.
Yes, Drill Sergeant.
Drop the pin, throw the grenade.
Yes, Drill Sergeant.
Execute.
He said,
Typical private, man. Typical private.
drop the pin, throw the grenade. He does the exact opposite.
You know, it's funny. You can find YouTube videos of this actually happening in real life. It's so funny.
Yeah, people are that dumb.
Because I think people just get so nervous in situations. You got the drill sergeant, for one, right in your face, and people just get freaked out, and they're like, it's like, no, dude.
You've never been around anything dangerous before, and all of a sudden you're holding an actual grenade. Yeah. It's nerve-wracking.
I remember doing this, too, in basic training for the first time. It was awesome.
Hell yeah.
You got to see how heavy they actually are and how hard they are to throw accurately. So when you see these movies, like when we watched Black Hawk Down and the dude launches it like 100 meters through a small window, it's like, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know about that.
You got really lucky, or that didn't happen. I think Christine's like a badass after that. It's like she's the only one that decided to grab her gun and shoot, even though it was just an awful display.
Just hip firing. You watch too much Rambo.
Hip firing. She closed her eyes and got scared when she shot.
But hey, at least
she's
fired
a water
back.
girl, and she shot back. So
this other dude's waving a white flag. All of a sudden, he had it ready to go.
Just instantly starts waving a white flag. Like, come on, bro. I saw that. I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right, bud. Dude, Pauly Shore has made so many iconic lines that I use forever. Hot Wheels, Sherman take, Biodome. What else does he say? Damn, there was so many in this one. Like one-liners that I feel like I've used like my whole life.
The thing I got from this scene was I remember seeing something recently actually about some SEALs, and they had these, I forget what they called them, but they had these vehicles around this time frame, and apparently they hated them.
Really?
Because for one, they're completely exposed, but they said there was a lot of drawbacks to them, and they kind of got forced on them, and they didn't like them whatsoever. But it's almost kind of like our side-by-sides that we use now, like the M-Razors, which I think are they're probably superior to these. They're maybe not as fast, but these are just rear-wheel drive, completely open and exposed. One driver up front, he's got a gun next to him. But yeah, apparently the SEALs didn't like these.
Yeah, I've taken contact in an M-Razor, and it's not fun.
I imagine you feel very vulnerable.
Yeah, we were taking like mortar fire and small arms fire, and I was just like, like it's not the best vehicle. And all we were doing at that time was bringing water to 2-1, because they were in the gunfight at the front line, and then we were switching off because we were kind of like jackrabbing or doing, trading off the days because we were in that valley, and just driving up to their position in the M-Razor to bring them supplies, and then get in the gunfight for a little bit before we went back. And it was like mortar rounds started coming in, and I was like, this is the worst.
We only use the M-Razors in training, and it was awesome in training because there's no repercussions, but they're so fun to drive.
Yeah.
I remember one time we were at NTC, National Training Center, and we had a mission, and it was like, it was like an 8-hour infill, and it started at like 10 at night or something like that. So we're riding under nods all night in these freaking M-Razors. I got mine stuck like 2 or 3 times. I had to be pulled out. And just like, I remember at one point.
Through what? Through the desert train?
Through the desert, yeah. We're going over like rocks and stuff and high-siding it. And so getting a rock completely stuck underneath and having to get pulled off. But all of us were doing it. But I remember at one point, we were driving these things for so long under nods, just like dozing off and falling asleep while we were driving this thing. By the time we finished our infill, it was the sun was coming up.
Damn.
It was miserable.
That's a rough day, dude.
That was terrible. I have pictures from that day, and it's just like, it sucked so bad.
That's some SF type shit. That's some SF type shit where it's like, oh, this is gonna be really cool. But then you do it so long and for so far that you've turned it past miserable into just like trying to survive it.
Yeah. Just trying to survive.
Yeah.
I remember driving it seriously, just like, just like, I have to wake up right now.
Dude, that's
terrible.
Sucked. 8 hours throughout the night of cruising those M-Razors, and they're not meant for comfort.
No,
they're meant for speed. Get there quick.
Plastic seats in these freaking things.
My team sergeant had his suppressor on, and we ended up shooting during that same trip. So we ended up going. He ended up like shooting, and then we jumped back in the M-Razor, and he put his gun between his legs. And it melted into the floor of the M-Razor. So his whole suppressor was like connected to the bottom of the M-Razor. He was like, oh, fuck. So it was just like this melted hole in there.
Oh, man.
It's like, dude, the cans get hot.
Yeah.
And those like little floorboards are plastic.
So Patagonia, a lot of our combat uniforms are made by Patagonia. And they were testing a jungle uniform. And it was almost like a lightweight nylon, but it was multicam. And we're at the range shooting with suppressors, and I remember putting it down and switching to my pistol. As I'm firing, like I smell something melting, and I look down and my suppressor is melting my pants because they were nylon or whatever they're made out of.
Yeah, so if you guys run cans, they get hot as shit, especially, and if you look at them under nods, they'll be like glowing red under nods, and it's pretty bad. So typically what we'll do is put a suppressor cover on there, and there's different ones that you can get. There's some that are like a cloth, almost like a what's the fabric that we use for the ruck trainers? Cordura. So it'd be Cordura on the outside, and then like a mesh type thing on the inside. You could do that as a suppressor cover. But then the dog guy also he had one that was rubber, and then it was like lines of thick rubber. So it makes it like, a 1/2 inch thick all around it. Mm-hmm. But I think the rubber one would probably be the way to go. And the reason he used it, the thick rubber one, as goofy as it looked, was because that way if he swung his gun, the dog wouldn't touch it.
True, yeah.
It's like obviously melting our pants or melting the M-Razor is one thing, but, burning your dog is real bad, And then, but you also want to use a suppressor when you're running a dog for their ears, because you can't put ear muffs on them, which maybe you can, maybe they have helmets, but most people don't run ear muffs on their dog, so you don't want to just like deafen your dog. So they run suppress all the time. You get some kind of suppressor cover, because if you really shoot a lot and you have to switch, like Kurt was talking about, you have to switch to your secondary, man, those cans get hot as shit. So most SF guys, I promise you, as cool guys it is to run a suppressor, most guys are not running suppressors because they just become a liability.
Yeah. Don't put them on right. You're at the range, somebody didn't connect it right. You see it shoot down. You're like, oh,
got you, stupid ass.
You gotta walk out and grab it.
The walk of shame. You better not be a Bravo launching your suppressor off, dude. That shit will be embarrassing.
If known or estimate, who came up with these directions? I don't know.
You shut up one more time when I'm gonna rip your spine out and use it for a cutting iron.
Shut up. I'm not good with directions. Push. Suck on this at one time.
Suck on this at one time.
I love that. The suck on this at one time. Dude, and then that reminds me of the time that I shot a AT-4 and I skipped it off the ground. My buddy was like, dude, hit this building. They're shooting at us from that building. I was like, got it. And I went and I flinched and it went and it didn't even explode, and I was like, shit. I was like, hang on, I got another one.
Way to go, Bravo.
Yeah, been there. Not a fun experience. AT-4s are terrifying, dude, because it's like, that thing, it could blow up in your face. I've had Carl G's, like, the round explode inside the tube.
Ooh.
So it wasn't a, it wasn't a high explosive round, so it wasn't an actual explosion of the round, but something went wrong because when I fired it, it just said, kaboom! And I think it was an aluminum round. Ooh. And something exploded in the tube, and it did not fire, and it was like jarring, dude.
Jesus,
it scared the shit out of me. The concussion was like super intense. And we were just training. We were messing around with the infantry guys, showing them how to use the Carl G. And he loaded up a loom round, and
oh, now you got to explain the loom round.
So illumination round. So the Carl G, the reason the Carl Gustav is preferred over AT-4s a lot of times is because you could choose the round type that you use. So you could use high explosive dual purpose, illumination. So you could put an illumination round in it, and then you could fire it, ting, and then when it pops, it has a parachute come out and holds. I don't want to pretend to know what is
I don't know what it
burning.
It's very bright, though.
So it's super bright. So maybe it's some kind of phosphorus or something that's burning, and it's got a parachute in it. So you get like complete daylight look over a certain area for about, a minute as this thing just parachutes to the ground. So if you're looking for enemy, you could shoot an aluminum round up. And then the cool thing about Carl G is your assistant gunner could then open up the back hatch. You could see the enemy. You could throw in a explosive round and then shoot the explosive round direct at the target. So
because the AT-4s are one and done, basically.
One and done, and you only have one one explosive round. You don't have the, changeability.
To carry more, you have to carry more AT-4 tubes,
right?
And then it's a hassle.
As to where the Carl Gustav, you can carry all the rounds in one thing, and you can have, that's also why I liked the 320 grenade launcher, because I can carry a bandolier of ammunition, and that could have high explosive dual purpose. It could have gas. All kinds of shit in it. Whatever tool that you want to use, you could put into that.
So as a Charlie, the only time we messed with AT-4s is we did remote detonations on them. And so we took a blasting cap. I forget how we did it, but we stuck a blasting cap somewhere in like the side of it, and we were able to like tamp it down with like sandbags and stuff and stand off, and we could, pull it like we're doing a regular charge and just launch them into the trees. I remember taking down some trees at training. No, we were just, I forget why we were doing it. They were just teaching us how to do a remote det on it.
It was probably for dud disposal.
Yeah,
that would
maybe
make sense. So you go to fire it, click, and then I'd call the Charlie. I'd put that shit down. I'd call you and be like,
yeah, something like that. I would have just put like a C4 on it and just blown it up. Yeah,
blow in place. Which that got scary, man. It's like sometimes EOD, not Travi, but other EOD would put a little too much. Because we would just find ordnance in Afghanistan and be like, well, you got to blow it in place.
Yeah.
And so if they put too much on it, or they didn't know exactly what was in the ordnance that they were blowing, sometimes that shit would go way too big.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's like dust everywhere. You're in a cloud of like, what the fuck
it
just
when
happened,
you did too much too. You're like, oh, I didn't expect that.
Holy shit.
Next thing you know, you got like rocks and stuff raining down on you and all kind of crap.
Good. When you're like, gosh, damn, dude.
Did you mean to do that? Yeah. I knew that was gonna happen.
Just coming out of a cloud of dust, like
your ears are ringing, you can't hear, can't see. You're just like, got it.
We got a picture of my team. We're walking through a dust cloud, and you could barely see us. And that was after a controlled det of some rounds, of some ordnance that we found, and it was just like, fucking, don't do that again. All right, guys. So that's it. I know there's a ton of this movie that we could go through, and we could just sit here and literally watch it for an hour and 32 minutes, as long as this movie is, and then it would be a 6-hour breakdown. But Abel has to edit all this, and he doesn't really want to do that, because then he would just be stuck in his little desk for like 10 hours editing this. So a lot of times people will be like, oh, you didn't watch the whole movie. It's like, yeah, someone's got to edit all that footage.
We watched the whole movie.
We watched the whole movie, but we're not going to just sit here and talk about the entire movie. But I love this movie. Pauly Shore in those times is still going to be an all-time favorite character of mine to ever exist, even though Pauly Shore now is just kind of a sad shell of his former self.
Yeah.
And I think if Pauly Shore, if you're watching this, which is like a 0% chance, you need to just Adam Sandler it and find a different character, dude. Just tap into acting and do some serious roles. Like, don't be a comedian for a minute. And Adam Sandler with was it Uncut Gems?
Yeah.
And then Adam Sandler then also came out with that kids movie that is just absolutely crushed. Leo.
Yeah, awesome movie.
Dude, that movie was so damn good. And so he just keeps reinventing himself. And sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's not, but eventually you're going to hit one out of the park. And I think, Pauly, you need to be doing the same shit.
Yep. I'd like to see him come back.
Me too. I think that if Pauly came back like Adam Sandler, all of a sudden like got rejuvenated, but as a serious role, or maybe he's doing like depressing things, or you know, hitting that side, that would be
maybe as part
awesome
of the comeback he comes on Beers and Breakdowns and we break down a movie.
We got a theater seat right here for you, Pauly.
Right there, Pauly. Can't see it, it's just off camera, but we'll change the view.
Yeah, we'll fit you in there. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this episode. Like, subscribe if you want more. Drop a comment down below about what else you guys want us to see, and we'll see you on the next one.